Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's FearsomeFire here, and I am back today with the start of a brand new series on my channel that I'm calling Speedrunning Theories. In this series, I'll be going over different types of strats, tricks, and glitches in popular speed games which are either not viable in a regular speedrun or are still being considered for use. To start off the series, we're going to be looking at a speedrun which I am personally very familiar with, being Super Mario Odyssey's any % category. More specifically, we're going to be taking a look at the fifth kingdom in the game, being the Wooded Kingdom. Most kingdoms in Odyssey are either somewhat linear like the Bowser's Kingdom, or they're big and open but spread out. The Wooded Kingdom is very different because of the fact that it has different sections and layers which the developers use when making the game to try to dictate which parts you go through at different times. The game does a really good job at blocking you off from accessing different points of the kingdom, but using various types of advanced movements and glitches, you can get past a lot of these barriers to do stuff which is obviously unintended. Some of these strats are even used in the current any % route. An example of this is the movement after the Nut Moon in the cave, where runners not only clip through a wall, but also grab the Tank Moon, which is not only supposed to be completely inaccessible when first entering the kingdom, but is also completely out of bounds. After grabbing this out of bounds moon, it is then possible to build up momentum on the ground and spam the jump button to climb a ramp to then make it to the upper part of the Wooded Kingdom and grab the fence moon. Normally you can't even climb this ramp without using a rocket flower, but speedrunners are able to climb it anyways by abusing the momentum physics in Odyssey. As you can tell, this is obviously not the intended way of grabbing these moons, and ever since these techniques were found, there have been many other theorized ways of breaking the Wooded Kingdom. Out of all the thought up ways, there is one in particular which has more promise than all the rest. That being the theorized maze clip. After grabbing the cliff moon, the runner then makes their way over to grab an uproot and get the moon inside the maze. After grabbing this moon, one would then leave the maze to go all the way around to make it over to the nut at the dead end. With optimal inputs, this movement takes about 20 seconds. It has been theorized that we could skip all this movement, however, by nut clipping through the wall here and then long jumping directly over to the dead end nut, which would cut out anywhere from 10 to 20 seconds depending on how fast it could be done. To understand why it's so difficult to nut clip here, I first need to explain how nut clipping works. In Super Mario Odyssey, when Mario does a side flip, back flip, or triple jump and presses his cap throw button at a certain time in the air, he'll sort of tilt in the direction you face the control stick when you throw Cappy. The way nut clipping works is we break the nut and spawn the moon, and while waiting for the moon to become active, we tilt Mario slightly into the wall as he grabs the moon. The game does not distinguish that Mario is being tilted when you activate the moon, so once the cutscene ends, you are then put back in the same place, however now your animation is different and is that of just a regular straight standing Mario. Because this is being done when the tilt animation is directed towards the wall, it means we are slightly in the wall after grabbing the moon, allowing us to clip through. This is really easy with the cave nut moon because Mario can stand directly under it and time the backflips to both break the moon at a certain time and activate the tilt right before the moon becomes active. The reason this can't be done with the maze moon is because it's slightly out of reach. Using a backflip or side flip, you can see Mario just sort of brushes under the nut, but is unable to actually crack it open because he just isn't getting enough height. As it turns out, however, Mario is able to reach the nut with a triple jump, which, like stated before, can also activate the tilt animation. This means that to perform nut clip here, it would require a triple jump. Now there are two reasons why doing a triple jump here is really difficult. The first one being that there's very little space to actually perform a triple jump, as you obviously need to have room to perform 2 jumps beforehand. The second and main issue, however, is the fact that even if you're able to perform a triple jump, because it takes so long to perform, by the time you actually jump on the moon, it's already going to be active. Remember that to actually clip through, we need the moon to become active right as we're tilting into the wall. This means we aren't going to be able to clip through in the same way that we do with the cave nut, but instead do something a little bit more technical. There is a theorized way in which you'd still be able to nut clip this moon, and that is to hit the moon twice so it's one hit away from being busted. After that, you would then do an upwards cap throw and hold Cappy in the air, and then immediately you would start to do the triple jump, and then while performing it, you would want to home Cappy to the nut with motion controls to break it, and then time everything out so you get Cappy back and activate the tilt animation into the wall at the very peak of the triple jump. People have spent hours and hours attempting to get a single clip of this just to prove that it's actually possible, but as of the making of this video, it's just way too precise. It's thought that once we're able to do TASes or tool assistant speedruns of Odyssey using an emulator, we will be able to perform this clip for the run, but it's still being questioned if this is ever something that can be viable in a regular speedrun performed by a human. Although the nut clip for the maze moon currently doesn't seem like it will be viable, there is another way to cut out the maze to dead end nut movement via a different method of getting out of bounds. After the fence moon, it's possible to then make your way over to this ledge of the upper part of the Wooded Kingdom. From here you can do a roll cancel clip to clip through the wall and then long jump above the maze moon, down throw 3 times, grab the moon, and then long jump directly to the nut around the corner, which does cut out the movement we're trying to get rid of. While this is difficult to do, it definitely could one day be viable and isn't anywhere near as precise as the theorized maze nut clip. There happens to be one sole issue as to why this isn't being used yet, and that is because of the cliff moon. The cliff moon is a moon which is normally grabbed after the fence moon but before the maze moon, and it falls very well into place in the current any % route. The cliff moon is on the lower part of the wooded kingdom, whereas the roll cancel clip to get out of bounds is on the upper part of the wooded kingdom. This means that if you're able to perform the roll cancel clip after the fence moon to do this route and continue along through the wooded kingdom, by the time you make it to the end of the kingdom, you'll be one moon short, being the cliff moon that we skipped over. Obviously, this means we need to find a better opportunity to grab the cliff moon, since we won't be able to get it after the fence moon if we were to take advantage of this clip. The best idea that anyone has right now is to moon clip like normal, and instead of going for the tank moon, you would long jump backwards to go over and grab the cliff moon, and then go back and take advantage of a completely different roll cancel clip at this rock to then continue and do the normal out of bounds movement to grab the tank and fence moon. While this does fix the problem of grabbing the cliff moon, it simply takes too long to do this added in movement to the point where we are no longer even going to be saving time with the roll cancel clip in the upper part of the kingdom. So where does this put us with maze clip? Well, currently, it may be better off that runners do not have to deal with a route which requires doing all these clips so accurately. However, as time goes on and Odyssey runners become more desperate for time save, maze clip will most likely be looked into more and more, and may even one day become viable. Hopefully you enjoyed this speedrunning theory. I would love to hear your thoughts and ideas in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching, I hope that you enjoyed, and have a wonderful day.